You know that moment when the energy just shifts, when you used to be all in, texting back fast, suggesting plans, showing her she mattered. But now, for whatever reason, you pulled back, lost that spark, lost your interest. What happens on the other side? What actually goes through a woman's mind when she feels you slipping away? Today, you're about to get a real, unfiltered look inside that reaction. Because when a woman realizes you've lost interest in her, trust me, it can trigger a ripple effect that's more powerful than you'd ever expect. Picture this. At first, she's just going about her day, maybe a little excited to hear from you, maybe feeling pretty certain she's got you in her corner. But over time, she starts to notice stuff. That text she sent at lunch? You left it on read. Friday plans? You forgot to follow up. Suddenly, she isn't getting those reminders that she's top of mind. At first, it's easy for her to shrug off, play it cool, chalk it up to you being busy. But within a week or two, there's that unmistakable shift, a knowing and unsettling hunch that maybe, just maybe, your interest is fading. And when reality knocks, the reaction is rarely what movies would have you believe. The very first thing to hit is a jolt of pure panic. Not the kind that's all drama and tears. That's for the movies. No, this starts deep inside. For so many women, being pursued is the default. It's the feedback loop. They're used to attention, used to you fighting for their time. So when you pull back, when you stop orbiting her world, it unhinges something fundamental. Suddenly, her validation isn't automatic anymore, and that missing energy is like a silent alarm bell ringing in her head. She goes into a kind of investigation mode, replaying every recent interaction, overthinking details you barely remember. Was it that conversation last Tuesday when you seemed distracted? Did she say something that turned you off? Every word, every look, every emoji from the last month gets dissected, a tiny film reel in her brain. Because it isn't just about losing you, it's the sting of losing her grip on the situation. What comes next is a weird mix of confusion and curiosity. She's stumped. You always responded so fast, set up plans, gave her consistent feedback that she mattered. Now that radio silence is almost deafening. She can't help but ask, "What changed?" she wonders. Is there someone else? Did he get bored? Did I do something wrong? The uncertainty eats at her, and that's when women who normally play it cool start shifting their behavior, almost automatically. Maybe she doubles down, trying to reclaim your attention. Suddenly she's texting first more often, suggesting hangouts, maybe posting more on social media. Those cryptic stories aimed straight at your subconscious. Sometimes, she accidentally shows up where she knows you'll be, just to clock your vibe firsthand. But here's where things get interesting. If you keep your distance, if you don't engage, her emotional energy quietly begins to withdraw. At a certain point, reaching out starts to feel pointless. Her messages become less frequent. Calls turn lukewarm. The enthusiasm that defined the beginning fades. A quiet reflection that she's picking up on your lack of investment. This isn't her giving up because she's bitter or wants to punish you. For many women, it's an act of self-protection. There's a line between chasing and humiliating herself, and even if she cares, even if she's frustrated, she knows that keeping her dignity means not fighting for something that clearly isn't mutual anymore. There's a sort of resignation that comes after the panic, an acceptance that's often misunderstood. To the outside observer, it might look like she gave up, or she's just being cold, but it's bigger than that. But here's the truth that surprises most guys. Even as she's withdrawing, you might actually gain a different kind of respect from her. See, when a man stops chasing, not out of spite, but because his genuine interest has waned, it forces her to adjust her perspective. She doesn't have the same power over you. The dynamic shifts completely. Where you once might have been eager, willing to jump through hoops, now you've shown you're capable of prioritizing your own standards and boundaries. This newfound respect doesn't always feel good at first. For her, it's bittersweet. She may appreciate the honesty on some level, even as it makes her feel rejected or confused. Over time, your absence becomes a void she notices, and the emotions that fill that space can be powerful. Everything from nostalgia to self-doubt to anger, and sometimes even a kind of admiration. You're no longer the man chasing her. You're the man she's now reflecting on, maybe even learning from. Also, if you're ready to fast-track your success, check out my new course in the description or comments for exclusive strategies. She might ask herself tough questions. Did I take him for granted? Was I too dismissive? Was I playing it too cool? If she values you, there's a chance this reflection can spark some personal growth, some self-awareness she didn't have before. But not every reaction is inward or passive. Sometimes, if she's especially invested, or her ego takes a hit, she might go the opposite route and test you. Maybe she'll try a little jealousy bait, mention other guys hanging around, or suddenly get a lot more active on socials in hopes you'll react. Sometimes this is just a knee-jerk response to the new power imbalance. She wants to know she still matters, even if only for a fleeting moment. Let's be real. A woman is highly attuned to attention and energy in relationships. She can sense subtle shifts, even if your words say nothing's changed. If things ever do turn dramatic, it's usually because she's desperate for clarity. Maybe she'll confront you, ask what's up, demand an explanation for your cold behavior. Often, the calmest women on the outside feel this as a storm on the inside. What looks like indifference is often careful restraint. If she doesn't text, it's because she's fighting the urge to text. If she doesn't show emotion, it's because she's determined not to give you more power by showing vulnerability. So at this stage, a lot depends on your reaction. If you're ambiguous, sending mixed signals, she'll notice, and that only amplifies her confusion. If you are clear, respectful, and honest about your feelings fading, it might sting in the short term, but for many women, it makes moving forward easier. The absolute worst thing for her, though, is uncertainty. That purgatory of wondering what went wrong, but never getting the closure. She learns not just about you, but about her own emotional patterns, what made her so invested, what she could have done differently. In other cases, it sets off a cycle of self-doubt or skepticism around future relationships, especially if the disinterest seemed to come out of nowhere. And then, for a certain kind of woman, that realization flips a competitive switch. She wants to prove to herself, sometimes even to you, that she can win you back. She'll be more attentive, make herself more available, sometimes becoming the pursuer for the first time in the dynamic. But more often than not, if she senses your disinterest is genuine and permanent, her efforts quickly fade. She knows chasing a lost cause won't restore the magic. Sometimes friends and social influences come into play. Maybe her friends hype her up, telling her you weren't worth it anyway. Or maybe they encourage her to play games in return, to make you jealous, to pretend she never cared. The reality is, most posturing is protective. She's trying to reclaim control and dignity after feeling like she's lost her grip on the dynamic. For guys watching this, the biggest thing to realize is that a woman's reaction isn't just about ego or insecurity, though both can be at play. It's also about self-respect. When she stops trying, stops chasing, stops engaging, she's honoring a part of herself that says, if someone doesn't want to be here, I won't force them. Women know on some level that relationships take two fully engaged people, and once that symmetry breaks, the only way to protect herself is to pull away, even if it hurts. And let's be honest, sometimes when you withdraw, and she senses it, it's not even about you anymore. It's about her, and her journey. She reclaims her focus, reinvests in other parts of her life, and starts looking ahead. In some cases, the best thing you can give her is clarity, even if it means the two of you drift apart for good. It's in that space that both people usually find who they really are and what they actually want out of future relationships. Now, if you're on the receiving end of all this, maybe you're the guy who's lost interest and you've noticed her vibe changing. Pay close attention. Sudden silence, short replies, muted enthusiasm, those are her boundaries coming up. If you care, be honest. If you've truly moved on, let her go respectfully. It's easy to mistake her indifference for pettiness, but more often than not, it's her way of keeping her heart intact. And finally, if you've ever wondered why she vanishes after realizing you're not invested, it's not about spite or revenge. It's about peace. Most women would rather step away and pour their energy somewhere it's valued than hang around hoping for scraps of attention. She's not afraid to walk. She just wants to walk with dignity. So, when a woman realizes you've lost interest, her reaction isn't always loud or obvious. Thanks for watching. If you want to get the results you wish for fast, then check my limited time offer on my new course, which will skyrocket your success in dating. Click the link right now down below in the description or in the comments and grab this opportunity. See you in there.